There we go. Let's see if it actually is. I don't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me get this in dual screen mode so we can both be seen there. All right. I was having some problems with my OBS, and while no one was here, I was working on that. But I ended up just going to the Jitsi recording option, which we back when we were doing the weekly CC listening parties, we would they would change how this all worked. I don't know how much of it was Jitsi and how much of it was YouTube, but we would get to places where it was just over an hour. It was like an hour and 56 seconds or something like that, 54 seconds. It was a very strange time, but it must have been based on like the bit rate or something, or maybe it was like designated as like you get an hour and then they gave you a little bit of time, just
to get out.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's gonna happen here. I don't, but I think maybe chopping things up is not that would be fine. But we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, one of the problems that we've had as we've been the last 3 years trying to get something organized is just it's hard to get people to come to things.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is maybe sort of like narrowing the scope of the organization to focus exclusively on net labels. And the idea is sort of that, like, a lot of net labels are already doing podcasts, and of course, they have interactions with musicians. I don't know that we would change anything in our monthly listening parties. I might focus more on stuff from net labels, but it's I don't really feel like policing what people are sharing on those. Yeah.
I was in contact with Omar a few years already now in regards to net label day, and you see that the drive goes up approaching net label day, and then the drive goes a little bit down again, and so
Yeah.
I think
One of the things that we've talked about doing is maybe having like a winter event. I know, some people have said that July is not really a good time for an event. So I don't know. Again, it's just hard to get people to do stuff.
Yeah, if I look at the community as it was 10 years ago, it's really shrunken very very big. So it was huge like 10, 15 years ago, and then now it's very slow. And I try to get in contact with these people, these artists, and I cannot even find them anymore. So it's very hard. Yeah, you want to promote them, but they're no longer there. So.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I guess, like, what are some ideas that you have, if any, for trying to breathe some more life into the community?
Well, I think preserving what was already there is already a start, because I've collected not a lot. I have 500 gigabytes of data, but it is scattered. It's on archive, and some is on what's the one, the Clongo, and then you had this squirrel thing, and everything is a bit scattered. So
Yeah.
but that's not easy to put everything together, because the net label archive is also trying to find stuff, and
Yeah. That's the one I was going to mention. There's also I don't know how many of these there are, but I know of at least one site that is doing stuff like regionally. There's probably others. I don't know that we have any sort of collection of those sort of like regional sites. I don't know if that would be something that would be of interest to try to tackle. The problem with this site too, though, is I don't think they've also stopped adding things, but maybe it's just Pete that stopped. I don't know. Well, and these give release dates, not upload dates. So, okay, yeah. So down at the bottom it says posted. That one was 2019. That one. Okay, so it looks like Martin is still uploading stuff. July 1st, 2026, he uploaded something. So, so MKE Punk is still going. And one of the reasons why I moved to OBS for recording is because unfortunately the chat does not get recorded when you do it this way. But so that's something that I'll try to fix before session 2, but I just have to remember to, if there's any links or anything dropped in the chat, and then have to remember to mention those. I think I texted Al. Yeah, okay. I just wanted him to know that you were here. I'll see if I can get Victor in. He should be up. He's in Kazakhstan. But he accepted the one for this afternoon. Well, let me ask you this. We have another session that starts in 6.5 hours. Yeah, if you're available for that, there might be more people around. We could just call it. Totally up to you. I'm happy to have the conversation, but
well, I think the session just collides with the finals of the soccer, so I think that will be very difficult for me to free myself at that time.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But if there's some information that you need or you want to share something, just send me a mail, and it's also okay for me. I think we have another net label session in August, I think.
Yeah. I kind of anticipated that today might be a little light. And I've been sort of like thinking through that. And like I said, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that, unless we get like a groundswell of people today, we're going to move to, explicitly focusing on net levels. I don't really know. And I kind of said this already, but I don't really know how much that's going to change in what we do. We're already involved with Net Label Day. I don't think, even though it wouldn't like 100% align the monthly listening parties, I don't really think are going to change. But at least like narrowing that focus, I think will help us move forward rather than just sort of like, hey, we got to like gather people to do this kind of thing. Like I already know Net Label people. I think the Net Label community already has some direction, at least with Net Label Day. So I think that, I think I feel good about that direction. And, part of today is just talking to people about that and making sure, nobody feels super against that direction.
No, but I understand it's a bit a pity that it's only the two of us for the moment. I cannot join the session later today, but normally I should be available in August for the second one. For the other one. So
and maybe, you know, part of my thought process with scheduling it today was that we would have some momentum from Net Label Day, but it may
Yeah.
also have just gotten lost in the whole Net Label Day thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perhaps because it was one mail with two things that it was a bit switched. I don't know, but okay, it doesn't matter. I'm happy that somebody is still alive. So
Yeah. Well, and you know, I invited people
yeah,
directly too. It wasn't just the email. So, you know, like it should
yeah,
be on at least some people's calendars with
mm,
the. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm gonna just leave. Well, actually, I'm not gonna leave it on. I'm gonna cut the recording here so
mm,
that we have like, hey, you want to go listen to us talk? You can do that. Then I'm gonna cut it back on. That way,
yeah,
you know, it's just ready to go if somebody else pops in.
yeah,
But in two, like if you like have like a great epiphany, I'm gonna be here and have it on for the next you know 2.5 hours or so. So feel free to come back too. I
yeah.
just
Okay, okay. I will check.
you know
Okay, if something else you need in between now and August, just send me a mail and then
yeah, absolutely.
okay.
And I've got your it's 1MC. Okay,
Yeah,
Steven. That's what I
yeah,
was thinking. It's
yeah, yeah,
Steven, but I wasn't sure.
yeah,
Okay, awesome. Well, Steven, thanks for showing up. And
yeah,
I'm gonna try to get like a few more people for the one in August for sure.
yeah.
So
Okay.
hopefully we'll have a good, and I think with the like after today having a you know a more clear direction with net labels, I think that'll help people focus on
Yeah.
being here for that.
Okay.
So
No problem. Okay. Perhaps talk to you
yeah,
later.
thanks a lot,
Okay.
Stephen.
Yeah. Goodbye.